with us Kristen Wilson. She works at the University of Kentucky in the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment, and she is the Equine Academic Coordinator. So today she'll be speaking about equine undergraduate programs at UK, and then also some career opportunities within the equine industry as well. So Kristen, if you'd like to take the floor and follow along, and if you all need anything, I'm right here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. I appreciate the introduction. Welcome everyone this evening. As Mary Jane said, my name is Kristen Wilson, and I am the academic coordinator for our Equine Science and Management program here at University of Kentucky. I actually grew up in the 4-H program, so it is near and dear to my heart down in Florida. And I've also worked a lot with Eastern National 4-H Roundup, which is our national contest held here in Louisville every year. So I am excited that you guys are all here to join me as we talk about the Kentucky equine industry, potential careers, as well as our undergraduate program here at University of Kentucky. So I want this session to be a little bit interactive. So we're going to start off with a icebreaker, and we are going to do a Kahoot. How many of you have ever done Kahoot before? Anybody? Okay, some of you, good. And then as we go through the presentation, I have some slides, which I'll share with Mary Jane later. She can maybe email it out to you all. I'm gonna utilize our chat in Zoom for you all to participate and give me some input on the things that we're talking about. So the first thing that I would like you guys to do, and let me pull up my PowerPoint real quick. So the first thing that I would like you guys to do is to go to kahoot.it. So you may have to get off of your camera in Zoom, which is okay. And if you can, or you can use your laptop, or if you're on a laptop and want to use your cell phone, go ahead and go to kahoot.it. And then I'm going to pull up our game, and we're going to start off with a little icebreaker playing Kahoot. So y'all should be able to see my screen. And once you get to kahoot.it, if you can type in this game pin that you can see here at the top, that will get you access to play our game. So again, kahoot.it. Oh, Maddie Jo's got it. Good. We'll wait just a few minutes for you guys to get on. We've got John. So again, you're going to visit www.kahoot.it unless you already have the app, and then we'll put in our game pin, and then we will start our game. Great, it looks like we've got 8 participants so far. Awesome. Looks like we're waiting for 7 or 8 more to join us. Give you just another minute. Patrick on now. Case and Colt. So as we wait for just a couple more participants, if you've never played Kahoot before, what we're going to do is go through and ask some questions, and it keeps track of who answers the questions correct and the fastest. And that is how it decides who is in first place and who is in second place. There was a question about not being able to see the screen and playing Kahoot at the same time. You can just look at Kahoot on your phone as you play. You don't necessarily have to see the screen because the question will come up on your Kahoot on your phone. All right. Is everyone joined okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started then. So here is our first question. So our first question is, what is the most prevalent breed in Kentucky of horses? Meaning, which breed has the highest number of horses in Kentucky? If you don't know, just go ahead and guess. All right, and our answer is thoroughbreds. So if you didn't know, in Kentucky, we have a very diverse set of breed of horses, with thoroughbreds being number 1, quarter horses being number 2, Tennessee walking horses being number 3. Next question. What is the most prevalent use of horses in Kentucky? Is it trail riding, horse racing, competition and show, or idle and not working? About 5 more seconds. Okay. So a lot of you guessed horse racing because thoroughbreds are the number 1 breed in our state, also competition and showing. But actually the number 1 use of horses in this whole state of Kentucky is trail riding or pleasure. Next question. How many horses are in the state of Kentucky, if you were to guess? About 5 seconds left to answer. Okay, so many of you guessed 251,000. You were close. Based on our last equine survey, the number is 242,400. So about 250,000 horses. How many acres of land are devoted to equine use in Kentucky? Okay, many of you said 2.5 million. The answer is 1.1 million acres. So even if it's not 2.5, still quite a lot. And Caroline Connor is in the lead. Next question. There are over 40,000 equine related jobs in the state of Kentucky. True or false? And our answer is true. So most of you got that right. Congratulations. Caroline is still in the lead. Next question, true or false? Equine undergraduate programs at all universities in Kentucky are the same. And our answer is false. Good job, guys. We'll talk about some of the various equine programs, specifically University of Kentucky tonight, but they are all very different in different ways. All right, and our last question of the night, true or false? An equine degree can only get you a job as a horse trainer or a veterinarian. And the answer is false. So hopefully for those of you who answered true, we can teach you some more stuff tonight about the various equine careers that we have. And let's see really quick who our podium winners are. In third place, we have Sierra S. In second place, we have Lily T. And in first place, we have Caroline Connor. So good job, guys. Hopefully that was just a fun starter for you to kind of see, you know, what the equine industry is like here in Kentucky. So a lot of my numbers that we talked about in regards to our stats were from what we call the Kentucky Equine Survey. This was actually done in 2012, and there is actually a new one coming every 10 years. So it'll be done again in 2022. So I encourage you, if you're interested in learning more about the Kentucky equine industry and what it's made up of, that you look for that information as that survey is done. And some of you, if you have horses, may even be asked to fill out that survey to help give us data. So we talked about the most prevalent breeds and uses. So as I mentioned earlier, thoroughbreds are our #1 breed, followed by quarter horses, Tennessee walking horses, saddlebreds, donkeys and mules, as well as mountain horses. And someone oh yes, sorry, Mary Jane said the survey can be found on the website. So yes, we also talked about the most prevalent uses of horses. And so many of you answered correct. The answer is trail riding and pleasure is our #1 use of horses, about twice as much as some of the other categories. Then we follow that with brood mares. And then the third most prevalent breed use is idle or not working. So those horses that we have in our backyards are pasture ornaments that we just have out there to be able to love on and do things with. And then competition and show came in fourth in regards to that survey. When we look at the map of Kentucky, and I saw in the chat many of you putting many different counties that you are representing tonight, you can see that this map tells us where we find the number of horses. So we said we have close to 250,000 equines here in the state of Kentucky. And as you can see, our larger population of horses is more here in central Kentucky. But as we start to go out, we also have horses in almost every single county, which I think is really cool. The other thing that I think is important to look at when we talk about this survey is the direct impact of the equine industry on the state of Kentucky here. And the one thing that I like to point out that we also mentioned is that there are over 40,000 jobs for people to be involved with horses here in Kentucky. And all over the country, we have many opportunities as well. Of those 40,000 jobs, there are only about 13,000 of them that work directly on the farm with horses on a daily basis. And so that leaves people scratching their head or thinking about, well, what other jobs might be available for us to have within the equine industry if we're not working on a farm, training horses, taking care of horses, or doing other things. The other thing that I'll point out is that in order to find a job within the equine industry, it's important for you to be in an area in which equine jobs exist. And so this is just a great graphic highlighting our equine program here at University of Kentucky and what has happened over time. So at the beginning of our program, only about, or in general, about 30% of our students within our equine program here at UK are from the state of Kentucky. But once they graduate from our program, about 60% of our graduates stay in the state of Kentucky, which I think is really cool and shows you how diverse and how many job opportunities exist here within the state. So I'm curious from you all, if you were to think about 2 careers off the top of your head immediately in which you might get a job graduating from an equine program, what might those careers be? Go ahead and drop them in the chat and then we'll kind of review them together. So again, if you were to think of 2 equine careers that you might immediately think of for becoming a graduate of an equine degree program, what might those careers be? Oh, that's a good one. So we've got 1, 2, 3 in a row that say vet. So veterinarian, we have horse racing and trainer. We have a trainer, a farrier, a doctor, a horse groom for race horses, equine therapy, a vet, a farrier, racehorse trainer, a chiropractor, a judge. Anybody, anything else? Harness maker, that's a good one. A farrier or a chiropractor, a nutritionist, a vet or turf management, a zookeeper, water therapy for horses, an artist. Good job, guys. So you've come up with many different career opportunities, but I'd say the 2 most popular ones were veterinarian as well as horse trainer. And oftentimes those are the 2 career paths in which most people think about when you have an equine degree. But what I wanted to show you all tonight is that there are many opportunities that exist within the equine industry for working, not just directly on the farm, not just being a horse trainer, or not requiring you to go to vet school. So I have a couple slides with this information on it. And I would like you guys to just take a minute to look at this slide and review the information that's on it. And then let me know, what is a career listed on this slide out of equine education and extension, organizational management and event planning, business administration, pre-vet and veterinarians, research, farm management, pharmaceutical, and law and government? What is a career on here that maybe surprised you? Because we had a variety of careers when you all put in the chat, but the 2 most popular ones were trainer and vet. So let's review this slide real quick and let me know, what is a career on here that maybe surprised you that you can get in? Okay, Lily T said a law and government and equine lawyer. So yeah, you can actually focus specifically in equine law. So Bailey asked, what is a lobbyist? A lobbyist is someone who works in government with our representatives and senators, and they lobby for specific areas of, say, the equine industry in which we want laws to be passed on. So they might be a lobbyist representing horse racing, and they provide that information to our senators as well as our representatives to help them make decisions about law. So lawyer, a social media influencer, Cassie and Colt said. So yeah, you can work directly in social media and represent a breed organization or a specific organization doing things. An X-ray tech, that's another great one. An attorney, an account manager, social media, and an artist. So yeah, so as you can see here, there are a variety of different equine careers that you can think of other than, you know, just that vet and or trainer aspect. Okay, here's another slide with some more on it. So these have to do with analytics and data, alternative medicine, breeding and reproduction, equine sales, essential services, equine recreation, as well as equine assisted services. So if you were to maybe point one out that is surprising to you on that, what might you have? We had a question in the chat about what is a bloodstock manager. So a bloodstock manager or a bloodstock agent is very popular within the equine industry. And typically those representatives work with our thoroughbred farms and are really good at looking at equine conformation as well as bloodlines and knowing what kind of horse or what kind of breeding lines will produce specific types of horses They tend to work directly with our thoroughbred farms at sales, and they go and actually look at horses and represent clients and tell them their opinion as to whether or not they feel like they will make a good racehorse or not. Okay, some other surprising ones were realtor. Yep, we actually have people that specialize in selling farms as well as equine properties. A buyer's agent might be very similar to a bloodstock agent. They represent an agent in purchasing horses at sales and then are actually able to do all the work for them without them being there. We had a question about what is hippotherapy. Hippotherapy is in which we use horses for therapy of humans. So we might have a therapeutic riding program in which we utilize horses to work with a physical therapist or an occupational therapist to do therapy for an individual, and they utilize the horse as the catalyst to help make that happen. A stunt rider was another surprising one. Someone asked, what is an animal abuse investigator? That is someone who can work with the government or with other organizations to go out and investigate abuse situations, maybe in which a horse has been starved, and trying to figure out how to assist those animals to get them in better situations. An engineer was also another one that was a surprise. We actually have an engineer here. We have a couple engineers here in our ag engineering and biosystems department. One works with racetrack surfaces, and the other one works with facility design and management and trying to figure out how barns and equine facilities can be ventilated better. All right, and this is our last one. So again, we have some categories of marketing and public relations, riding, show support, training, and racing pathways. And most of these are probably of more easily thought of by you, but is there anything on this list that might surprise you? All right, so Ryan said a bookkeeper surprised him. Any other ones that surprised you? An equine tattoo inspector. So an equine tattoo inspector actually will inspect the lip tattoo on our thoroughbreds before they race to make sure that they are actually the horse that is supposed to be entered in the race. We also have a communications director. So that's someone who could be in charge of all of the communications and marketing efforts for an organization. For example, here in UK Ag Equine programs, we actually have a communications director. And she is responsible for putting together our press releases to advertise the things that we're doing and to also help with our social media efforts and our website and really just getting the word out there of all of the things that we want to know. Any other ones that surprise you? Allie asked, what is equine journalism? So there are different publications that you can get in the equine industry. So things like maybe Horse Illustrated or The Horse or different blogs that you can look at. We have people who focus specifically on writing those things. And that is a fun way for them to do and get the word out about horses. Let's see. We also have stewards. So stewards could be someone who knows, all of the rules of what's going on at a horse show, and they are there to assist the judge to make sure that rules are followed, and to also maybe do bit inspections and other things at the horse show. Okay, so this is also another graphic that I like to highlight. And I just think it's really cool because it does focus more specifically on the horse racing industry, whether it's thoroughbreds or the standard bred industry. But it just goes to show you all of the different people and all of the different jobs that can be utilized and that are needed in order to make the horse industry work. And so you not only have your people like your trainer who is in charge of training the horses, but then extended out from them, you have all your essential services such as veterinarian, feeding and bedding dealer, tack and equipment. There might be the racetrack employees where they're racing their horses. There are also people that assist the trainer, like the assistant trainer, grooms, hot walkers, equine transport. And then in addition to that, we may have people that assist our owner in accounting. I'm helping them from an equine law standpoint, helping them from the bloodstock agent standpoint, in which they can help them to pick and choose the horses that they're going to purchase. And then kind of the list or the map goes on and on. So that's really cool. And so this hopefully just helps you to see a visual of the various equine careers that we have. So now we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about equine undergraduate programs. Some things that I like to encourage you to keep in mind include maybe what can you do with a degree from an equine program? And we'll talk about that. We've talked about that some through our equine career conversations. You might want to think about what is my future career, and does the curriculum or the classes that program offers align with my career goals? You might look at what the alumni are doing from that program that you're looking at. And then I also encourage you to also visit campus and also look at what other extracurricular opportunities they have. Is that a club and team? Is it something else that you might want to get involved with on campus? So in Kentucky, we have many schools that offer equine programs. And we had asked earlier, are all equine programs the same? And the answer is no. We're all a bit different from each other. Some of us offer 4-year programs. Some of us offer 2-year programs like BCTC's program. And some are very focused on specific career goals or very specific professional services such as horseshoeing. And so as you guys get to the age that you start looking at equine programs, it's important that you look at the curriculum and look at where it's located and really identify something that's going to really help you to meet your future career goals. So we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about University of Kentucky's Equine Science and Management program. And then we will take questions at the end as you all have them. So our program is a 4-year program, so different from BCTC in that it is 4 years instead of 2 years. And it is an equine degree. We are not an animal science degree program like many other schools that have equine programs here in the state. Our program is specifically an equine science and management degree program. And what I like about it is that you actually get to start taking equine classes from your first semester with us here in the program. We have a curriculum, and when I say curriculum, what I'm talking about is the types of classes that you're going to get to take. And so when you look at the curriculum, you can see there's many kind of what we call general ed courses, or things like an art class or a math class or a science class, as you can see here on the left. But then our program has a core set of major requirement classes in which all of our students take. And so you can see it's everything from an Animal Science 101 class to Equine 101 to a behavior and handling class to learning in depth about equine anatomy or how to manage horses, looking at things like parasites and deworming and feeding. It's important that you have a good grasp of different types of equine industry issues. We also have a health and diseases class, and then an ag business class and some opportunities for you to also get some hands-on experiences. From there, you then get to pick and choose classes that you want. And I know that this slide's a little hard to see, but you can see we have emphasis areas. Our two most popular emphasis areas are equine science and equine management and industry. And so depending on your career pathway and what you're wanting to get skills and knowledge in, you can really pick and choose your coursework to be more science focused. So if you like animals in general, you can take general animal science classes or equine specific science classes in everything from equine genetics, equine reproduction, equine nutrition, equine science, or if you want to be more business focused. So maybe you want to be a horse trainer. Maybe you want to manage a farm. Maybe you want to work for a breed organization. Then you might consider looking more at the management and industry emphasis area, in which you can take general ag sales and marketing classes. And then you can take equine specific things and everything from equine law, equine tools and tack. I know Dr. Coleman joined you guys maybe a month or two ago, and he talked to you about, but he teaches a class specifically in tools and tack. So if you want to learn about bits and all of the different tech and equipment used in different disciplines, that's a fun class to take as well. And then finally, you have an area, two different areas where you can really tailor things to what you want. So say you might want to work in equine therapy or therapeutic riding. You might consider getting a minor in this section in psychology. And I had a question, what are the numbers at the end of these? These are the credit hours that you take. So when you come to our program, after the end of 4 years, you will finish 120 credit hours. And so each semester you take about 15 credit hours. And you can see here, most classes are about 3 credit hours each. And so you'll take about 5 classes each semester that you are with us. As I mentioned earlier, our program has many opportunities for hands-on opportunities and for you to really explore your career pathways. So, if you are thinking like, okay, I love horses, which I'm sure all of you do because you're on here tonight, but I really don't know what I want to do with them. Well, the good news is that within our program, we have many opportunities for you to try things out and to really pick and choose and tailor the opportunities to where you connect and have interest. And so one of those is through our internship program. And so our students will complete a 150-hour internship, but they will also, before that, start exploring careers in our equine careers class. They will do career shadows. They do professional growth plans, and just lots of things to really explore and figure out where their niche is within the equine industry for working. We also have study abroad opportunities. So if you are interested in learning about the equine industry abroad, we have taken trips to Australia, Ireland, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. And we have many other things planned once we can get out of COVID and start our international travel again. As I said earlier, you don't have to know exactly what you want to do when you come into the equine program. I'll point out that we have about 280 students, and not all of those students have had an opportunity to have hands-on experiences working with horses. Not all of our students own horses. Not all of our students have ever ridden a horse. And so there are many opportunities for you to get that experience, not only through internships, but also through maybe attending our equine career fair. If you're in high school, I'll point out that our career fair is coming up in September. The date is September 29th. And we often have an extra track for high schoolers to come and learn about equine careers and to be able to learn more about the equine programs in the state of Kentucky. So maybe save that date and I'll have Mary Jane share that with you later. We have an internship coordinator that helps with career advising. And we also touch upon many different career and career readiness skills throughout our curriculum and the classes that you take. So again, September 29th is when our career fair is scheduled for the fall, so save that date. In addition to our curriculum, whether you come to UK to go through the equine program, or if you decide that there's a different major that you want to be part of, you can still be part of our extracurricular clubs and teams. And so you can see here we have opportunities for you to become involved, whether it's riding horses or just being part of a club or group that have a similar interest. So we have clubs and teams in the areas of, we have riding teams in the areas of dressage, hunt seat, western, eventing, polo, rodeo, and saddle seat. And if you don't have your own horse, that's perfectly fine, because most of these clubs and teams have opportunities for you to ride horses and take lessons at our host facility. The only two that require the use of your own horse is the eventing team and the rodeo team. And that is really just because those disciplines really require you to know your horse and be careful with the things that you're doing. We also have a Collegiate Professional Horsemen's Association if you have an interest in kind of leadership and professional development opportunities, as well as a horse racing club. So if you want to learn more about the thoroughbred industry, you can do that. So Bailey asks, what is saddle seat? So saddle seat is a discipline in which typically we have gaited horses. So things like saddlebreds, Tennessee walking horses, sometimes our Arabians and our Morgans are also ridden in saddle seat. They use what's called a cutback saddle and typically wear a three-piece suit to do that. Case and Colt asks, when I do bull riding at UK, do I still need a horse? No, you do not need a horse in order to do bull riding. That is an opportunity through the rodeo team. Any other questions about clubs and teams before we move on? Go ahead and put your questions in the chat and I can answer those. So what events do you offer for rodeo teams? The rodeo team does have bull riding, they have saddle bronc, they have bareback, they have barrel racing, goat tying, team roping, all of those things that you would typically see. Any other questions about our clubs and teams? What is polo? So polo is a discipline in which you, let's see if we can see here. We don't have a good picture of them in action, but polo is where you ride horses really fast and you have a mallet and a ball and you strive to get that ball into the goal area with your team members. Question was, how many people are usually on a team like rodeo? Sometimes it depends on kind of how many spots are available. So for example, our equestrian team for Western and Huntsy only can supply so many riders to compete. And so they might have tryouts and limit it to a certain number of riders. But the rodeo team is open to everyone. And I think right now they have maybe about 20 members as part of that. Lily asked, by chance, can girls do the saddle bronc or bull riding? Yes, they can. And we have coaches that will provide you with training to get started if that's something that you have not done before. Any other questions specific to clubs and teams? All right. Okay, so now I just wanted to come back to the career side of things and kind of show you what are some of the things that our alumni from the Equine Science and Management program here at UK are doing. So you can see there's some common themes amongst the different career categories that we talked about. And you can see that this graph has lots of different shades of blue, which means that our alumni are working out in the industry doing multiple different things. So you can see about 25% of them, if we were to combine farm management and breeding, as well as riding, training, and showing, are doing those on the farm direct handling of horses. But we also have others that are doing things like vet med. Vet med includes things not only including being a veterinarian, but also things like vet techs, our pharmacy techs, and other people that work at the large vet clinics or other vet clinics around the country. We also have a group that do sales and retail. So that could include, we have an alum that is a sales rep for Ariat Footwear. We also have some that sell pharmaceutical products, not only for horses, but also small animals. Some will work for nonprofit associations, so that could include breed associations such as the American Quarter Horse Association, the Jockey Club, the Morgan Horse Association, United States Hunter Jumper Association, Pony Club, multiple things like that. We also have professional services, so that would be things like our realtors, our farriers, anyone that provides a direct service specific to the industry. Marketing and public relations, again, would be like a social media influencer, a communications director, journalism, and things like that. But we also have people who graduate from our program and do other things. So our program is one of 3 programs at the college that can be used for pre-vet. And then we also can be utilized for other professional schools like pre-med, going to dental school, becoming an ophthalmologist, and other things that are science focused. And then someone asked, what is unknown? Unknown are our alumni that we just don't know what they are doing. And so we try our hardest, and we have information on 96% of our alums, but there is about 4% that we just don't know what they are doing. The other thing I'll show is that some people decide not to just use our program to get a job. They might go on to another additional programming or education. And so typically graduates from our program have done things like going on to veterinary school, going on to maybe a master's of business administration, maybe pursuing a further education in equine animal science graduate programs, things like that. And so you can utilize our program to go on to do many other things, is what I shall say. Let's see. But I what I'll kind of finish up with and point out is that everyone's journey is unique. You might come in thinking you want to do one thing, but you might quickly realize through your different classes and opportunities to get hands-on experience that you might decide that you want to do something different. This is one of our alums, Miss Sam Geller, and she came from California. And she came in thinking that she wanted to be very equine science focused. She wanted to have an equine specific job and working in the science area, maybe research or working with land conservation stuff and horses at the same time. She took advantage of many different internship opportunities. She was part of the equestrian team and things like that. And ultimately, she actually ended up getting a job with the Saddlebred Horse Association. Her background is hunter jumpers, but through her different work experiences, she actually also got a master's of business administration. She was actually able to get a job for a breed association in which she didn't have experience in the breed side of things, but she had a lot of knowledge about the horse industry and had really good skill sets in event management and planning and things like that to be able to get a job. So I like to just kind of finish by saying, you might think you want to do one thing, but it's really cool that you can come into a program and try many different things and kind of really redirect your career path as you go. And then finally, I'll just mention that if you are interested in the equine program here at UK, there's many different opportunities to learn more about us. And as I mentioned earlier, it's important that you come to campus and see what the program is all about. And so there are opportunities for visits. You can come to campus or general campus tours. We also have tours specific in the College of Agriculture, Food and Environment that take place on Mondays and Fridays. And to schedule those visits, you can go to visit.uky.edu. And then we also have some experienced equine sessions. We have some this spring. So if you are a high schooler, if you've been admitted to UK, we have a experienced equine program on March 25th. We also have one focused towards all high schoolers on April 29th. And then typically we have one in the fall. Let's see. So my question to you before we break for questions is, so what's next? What new equine career might you think about exploring now that you've learned more about them tonight? If you want to utilize the chat and put that in, I'd love to hear. So again, what new equine career opportunity might you be interested in exploring? So Millie would like to explore being a horse trainer. We also have vet or dentist. Caroline would like to look into equine assisted services more. We have a vet. What else do we have? A hot rider, a vet or bronc rider, a bull rider, a horse trainer, a photographer. Love that idea, Bailey. If you love doing photography, that's a great way to stay in the equine industry. An artist or a zookeeper, a horse trainer or a vet, a social media influencer for colt, in case wants to be a bull rider. We also have equine therapy again, photography. Any other ones? Okay, so I'll just finish off by letting you guys know about a couple opportunities that we have coming up or ways to stay connected with us. We actually have what's called the Horsey Hustle. It's a 5K coming up, and it's going to be held here in Lexington. It's a great way to get involved in the UK equine community, and you can also do it virtually. So if you have interest in that event, you can take a picture of the QR code here on the screen. And that might be a fun opportunity to become involved in. And I believe Mary Jane's going to send some stuff out on it to all of you once I get her that information as well. And then we also have some publications that we do as part of UK Ag Equine. And those include things like the Wildcat Canter, which is our monthly equine newsletter. We have the Equine Science Review, which is our monthly newsletter focusing on equine research. And then we also have a newsletter specific to our alumni. So if you have interest in receiving any of those to continue receiving information about the equine program, feel free to look at that QR code as well. So Lily asked, what is a 5K? A 5K is a walk or a run that is 3.1 miles long. And proceeds from it will be going to benefit our Student Experience Fund. So with that said, I'd be happy to take any questions that you guys might have.